Hey, good morning, moms. It is Monday. I hope all of you are starting the week out with a bang. I am super excited because it is finally our second week of our morning schedule, and I feel like I'm getting into the swing of things. So I'm going to be able to bring you these videos every morning around 11:15, 11:30 is going to be my plan. So you can kind of plan for that in your schedule. I never give an exact time because when you have 6 kids and you're working out of your car some days, you never really know what's going to happen. So today I want to talk to you about the first step to take when building your online business. And I'm going to talk about the next 2 steps over the next couple weeks. So stay tuned on Monday mornings to hear the other 2 installments. But today I want to talk about the very first thing that you really honestly need to do when getting started with your business. In case you don't know me, my name is Rachel and I am founder of Moms on the Rise. I help moms build their business, saving money, time, energy, all those things so that they can create an income and create that stability that they are looking for and still have time for their families, because there's no point in doing all this if you feel like you are constantly taking time away from your family to do it. So this morning I'm in my vehicle while my kids are all entertained at their activities. I have 4 girls at gymnastics, a son at triathlon training, and another son at a morning camp or a day camp. He just goes in the mornings. And so I get to do this with you today. So today I'm going to talk about the first thing, the very, very first thing you need to do when starting your online business. And it may be something that you think you've heard before, but I want you to pay attention because I'm going to give you a little different take on it. So the very first thing that you need to do is you need to speak to your ideal client. And I know you're thinking, oh great, pause, turn off, I'm not listening to this. But the fact is that I want you to look at about this a little bit differently than maybe you have in the past, because there's a little bit of a different tweak to it that I like to take that I missed when I first started. So if you're just starting your online business, or you really wanted to grow your online business in the second half of 2019, I want you to share with me down in the comments, give me a little thumbs up that says, yes, I want to do this. Yes, I'm ready to do this. Yes, yes, yes. And I want to tell you about this first step, which is figuring out who that ideal client is. Who is it that you want to speak to? So I always like to start by giving this little example. And I saw it on a TV show that's totally unrelated to social media or marketing or business, but these guys were out hunting and they were trying to catch some food, I guess, to eat. And they were in the middle of the forest and they were very not skilled at what they were doing. And they were setting up a trap for an animal. I don't think either one of them had any idea like what kind of an animal they were trying to get. They just needed something to eat. And so they were setting up this trap out in the forest. And one of them said something like, how do you even know that we're going to catch that kind of an animal in there? What do you even think you're going to catch? And it hit me that a lot of times that's what we do when we get on social media, that we just throw a post out there, or we send out an email, or we do something that kind of feels right at the moment. And we throw this post out there and we just kind of hope the right person's going to latch on. But are we sharing the post in the right place? Are we sharing it with the right people? Are we sharing it in the right way? And a lot of times the answer to that is no, because we don't really know who we want to work with, or we haven't quite figured that out yet, or maybe we kind of have an idea, but we're not 100% sure. So what I want to share with you today is a few steps that you can take in order to figure out who that ideal person is, because you want to make sure that you're speaking to them. So in other words, if you're trying to catch a fish, don't set a trap out in the middle of the forest, because you'll never catch a fish. If you're trying to catch a bear, don't go out in the middle of the ocean with a boat and a bunch of nets trying to catch a bear, because that's not gonna work. You're fishing in the wrong sea, if you get my drift, okay? So what I want you to do is really think about who it is that you want to help. So when I started out in health and fitness, and I still work in helping moms with health and fitness, but I wanted to help, when I first started, I wanted to help moms. And that's what I did. I targeted every post I did just to women in general, just women. I just wanted to help women. I wasn't really into helping men, don't really know how to help them, but I know about helping women, so I wanted to help women. So I created a lot of posts that way. But it was such a broad net that I ended up catching a lot of people that maybe weren't interested in what I had to offer and the tips that I had to share. So again, if you're out in the middle of the ocean and you're putting this really, really broad net out there and you're trying to catch anything that will come into your net, you're going to pull it up and you're going to realize there's a lot of stuff in there that you don't really want. Okay, so that's people you don't want to work with, people that you've posted and they say that they want to work with you, but then when it really comes down to it, that's not really what they want. And so you're not being specific enough. So you want to make sure that you are focused on that ideal person that you want to work with. Another example of this is, let's say that you're creating some content, you're posting it in a particular Facebook group that you're a part of, and you want to help moms lose baby weight. That's what you want to do. So you create this beautiful post about your story and how mom's losing baby weight and how you can help them, but you post it in a group that's just full of women aged 18 to 70 that are running a business. That's that really huge net. And yeah, a couple people might see your post that might be kind of interested, but odds are a lot of people are going to see your post that aren't interested. They're going to go buy it. And you know what happens on Facebook when people don't like or comment on your post? It disappears. And so you want to be really specific on who it is that you're going to talk to. I'm not saying that you need to narrow down your niche right away. That took me years to figure out who I wanted to help, but you want to make sure that you're making it narrow enough so that you can attract those people that you want to help and that they're going to be attracted to you instead of people that, so maybe you're sending out posts out there and a bunch of people are responding, but they're not really who you want to work with. They're not your ideal client. And when push comes to shove, when it comes time for them to buy, they're not going to buy because you're not really what they were looking for. Okay, so that is my first tip, is get really specific on who it is that you're going to help. Now, the second thing that you really need to think about is your story and who you are and how that fits into the whole picture. So going back to my own story, when I first started my health and fitness journey, I started with wanting to help all women, and then I gradually narrowed it down to moms, and then I narrowed it down to moms that want to lose the baby weight. But what I wanted to do was, my thing was, I wanted to help moms that struggle with losing the baby weight. And so that, because I thought, well, that's going to be a big enough market and there's going to be enough moms out there that are struggling to lose the baby weight and I can help them with that. But what happened was, as I had a very, very difficult time creating content because that's not my story. Okay. My story isn't that I have a difficult time losing the baby weight. My story is that I lose the baby weight, but it is a day-to-day struggle to stick with the nutrition and to stick with the workouts. And so I would get all gung-ho, and as soon as I'd hit that goal, I'd lose my motivation. I'd start binge eating on weekends, starving myself during the week, over exercising to try to compensate it. That was my story. And when I started sharing that part of my story with the moms that wanted to lose the baby weight, that is when I could truly kind of create this connection with those moms. They connected with me. We were able to build a relationship. I had the product and the process and the coaching that they needed in order to meet their goals. Where when I was trying to help the mom that struggled to lose the baby weight at the very beginning, we get into conversation and there wasn't that connection. There wasn't that relationship, and she wasn't able to connect with me. And therefore she really didn't want to fork out any money to buy what I had to offer because it wasn't exactly what she was looking for. So I really encourage you, when you're figuring out your ideal client and you're figuring out your niche and where you want to go with your business, that you really think about who you are and what you have to offer and what your story is. Otherwise, you're going to miss the mark again. And there's nothing worse than spending a lot of time creating content and talking with people but never quite getting the groove of what you are doing and who you are selling to. Okay, so that is step number 2. And step number 3 goes along with all that, and it is always be authentic. So when I was trying to create these posts and these stories and this content around the mom that struggled to lose weight, I was missing the mark. I wasn't able to be authentic. So it was very, very hard for me to create that content, and it didn't come across with authenticity. So if you get on your Facebook and you post about what you are going through right now, that's where the authenticity is going to come into play. The other thing is that as I've narrowed my niche down, I realized that the moms that I really want to help are ones that struggle with time, that struggle with making the time for themselves, that struggle with making time for workouts and for eating healthy and for telling other people no. So what I do now is I focus my content on moms that struggle with time, content around fitting in the workout. That is, again, something that I can relate to because I have that struggle. So when you're thinking about your first step in building or growing your online business, you've got to get really down in deep into yourself, who you want to help, all that authenticity piece and all of it, because that is what is going to help you create that connection. I can send out 10 emails to the same person, and they may not ever connect to it if they can't connect with my story. And if I'm inconsistent with my story, if I share something today about struggling to lose the baby weight and the next day I talk about having time and I change my story a lot, I'm going to have a hard time connecting. So get really, really clear on where you're at in your journey, what you can share about your story, how you can be authentic, and who it is that you want to help, because that's going to help you create the content that they are going to connect with, and they're just going to come falling into your inbox. They're going to come falling in onto your blog because they're going to go, oh my gosh, I totally get this woman. I want to hear more about what she has to say. And you're going to be able to build that relationship. Where on the other hand, if I'm sharing my story with a bunch of 70-year-old women that are trying to, and talking about fitting time in a workout when you're running your kids all over town, you don't have any time to yourself, they're not going to identify with that and they're not going to be interested. Leave those people for somebody else. Okay, so just to give a quick business example, if you're a VA and you want to help women who have a 9 to 5 job but also have a side gig, and you want to help them build their side gig, that is the story that you want to share. Maybe that's where you came from. You have clients that have done that, and you can say, hey, look, I can help you grow that side gig so it can become your full-time gig. And you would share your story about how you were able to do that for yourself, how you've helped your other clients, and you can be authentic. And that's something that I can get behind, going, okay, yeah, if this is my story, I've got a full-time job. Yeah, she does too. Oh my gosh, and she's building a successful business. I can totally get behind that. I want to find out how she's doing it, and I want her help, and they're going to be able to connect with you. Where if you're a VA and your story and you're sharing content about working on your side gig and using a VA to help it, that's not going to be quite as attractive to somebody that is working their side gig as a full-time business, if they've only got one job. You're not going to relate to them because they're going to go, well, yeah, the time thing's not an issue for me. I just don't like creating content. So I would share a story about how, yeah, I hate creating content, and this is how I used a VA to help me create that content. That is something that they can identify with. So lessons here today is figure it out who you want to talk to. I'm not asking you to get out that paper. You don't need to write down like all that stuff about, oh, she likes to watch Grey's Anatomy and she eats ice cream and has brown hair and blue eyes and she's 5 feet tall. Do not get wrapped up in all that stuff. What I really want you to do is focus on what it is that makes you special, what it is about your story that makes you unique. How can you help other people do those same things that you have done and be authentic? And that is the place that you're going to create your content from. So I hope this was really helpful for you today. If it was, please share it with anybody that is having this struggle of creating content or not knowing what content to create, or they're struggling with getting people to connect them with that content. Share this with them so that they can get on board with this as well, because this is going to be a game changer for your business, okay? And then if you are wanting some more insight as to how this can work for you, or want to sit down and talk about the steps that you can take in order to get clear on your ideal client and clear on your message, I'm going to post the link to the Biz Bestie mentorship. It's 12 weeks where we work together to get your business going from beginning or not growing to like skyrocketing awesomeness, creating a business where you are creating money. So I'm going to share the link down for that in the comments here in just a second. And have an awesome day, everybody. Let me know down in the comments if this like helped you out, if you found some truth in it, and how you are going to find that ideal client to be attracted to you. So have a great rest of your day, everybody. I'll see you later. Bye-bye.